family-friendly environment. Visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
San Diego, California on a Tuesday. Beautiful. I hope it's beautiful wherever you are. And along the way, we get to sit courtside and bring this to you. DP, next to me, the coach, Renee Saunders, Enrique Alvarez-Clary as well. Harrison Arns manning the board, making sure that we get through. Greatly appreciate it. Want to thank the folks from Mullen Motors for making this happen each and every game night so that we can set you up for what should be a good one, another big opportunity for the Supernovas as the league, as the federation starts to carve itself out. And again, it re-identifies itself. Every time we leave you and come back, there's a different story. Today's story in the federation is this. She stands about 30 feet, 40 feet from us. She was the federation's player of the week. And the statement is spectacular because nobody was more deserving. Sometimes the numbers will scream out at you a thing, but Sydney Hilly was exceptional in Omaha. Coach, talk to me, please, about the player of the week in the Pro Volleyball Federation.
Sydney Hilly has taken her game to the next level in the past couple matches. She's doing everything they're asking of her, and then some. She's playing defense. She's gone on serving runs. But most importantly, she's putting up balls that her hitters are able to terminate on. And most recently, she's become part of the offense, right? Like attacking and everything else. So I think she had 6 kills on Thursday night, maybe 3 kills on Saturday. And I think they're looking for her to be active again tonight. But Sydney Hilly's really picked it up, doing a great job on the serve, great job on the block. And then obviously being an offensive force at the net is also really important.
Have we buried the lead on that, on a team and a roster that has the depth that they do, that Coach Bird has been able to be fluid with them and dial them up to perform at the highest level exactly as she needs them to? Sydney Hilly being one of those.
Oh, 100%. I mean, her and Nadi are so interchangeable in so many ways, but the Supernovas have found a nice little rhythm right now with Hilly running the offense. But Coach Bird has been very clear that if they need to make changes, they'll make changes. And so I think that might be a little fire too, that Hilly doesn't want her to have to make changes. And so she takes matters into her own hands. And today was the first time I attended a film session. And after the team film session, who do you think stand there longer for more film? Kendall, Sydney, Brooke, Nadi.
Yeah, this is, I know it's radio, but on the stream, you can see this is my surprise face. that those players would be exceptionally as they are. And it shows up in several ways. From the outside looking in, it's impressive to get them to work together. From the inside, Coach, I'll ask you, in the film study, the communication has to be vital, like that they get on the same page verbally, not only mentally, but verbally, and how they communicate what they see.
Yeah, very much. I mean, watching it took me back to, obviously, it wasn't as quick as it is now with like data volley, but in the olden days you had a VHS tape and you had to cut clips, but it's very similar to.
Look at the olden. What are you?
Hey, that was a long time ago. But it did, it reminded me of the, this is rotation 1. This is what they run if they're in system, if they're out of system. This is rotation 2.
Right.
This is the hitter's go-to shot. This is their secondary shot. So, I mean, it was very the communication has to happen from either the players on the court or from the bench to the people on the court, or even coach to player. Has to be little reminders of, hey, they're in rotation 1. Look for, Temi Thomas-Ilara coming out of the back row on a D because that's their number 1 choice. They set that 60% of the time or whatever it might be. I mean, but their rotation by rotation, where they should shade on defense, in transition versus serve receive, But the amount of knowledge in these players' heads, it's awesome. They know and watch enough film that they can track the tendencies, see them for themselves, but then also the coaches do a great job of keeping it short enough that obviously it keeps their attention. So, but I wasn't really surprised to see Sydney up there taking notes, right? Like that's who she is. She's very thorough in everything she does, and she's very intentional in everything she does. And I think that she's a very motivated setter to just keep getting better in her craft.
How does that translate into under live fire game situations where the verbiage has to be tighter, shorter, in quicker bursts to get the same information out?
I mean, there's a wealth of knowledge that you have. There's what you need to say versus what you want to say. You only need to say one or two things, or you might not need to say anything. It might be eye contact. It might be running certain hitters on certain attacks because you know that the blocker on the other side is weak or the defenders on the other side is weak. The setter's job is to put hitters in positions that they can terminate the ball. Put them in their best attack, put them against the worst blocker, put them in a position where they can hit it at the weakest defender. But that's what the setter's job is. So I'm sure every single serve, both for us and for the other team, Sydney's looking at the matchups and deciding what will be best for us to score a point in this point right now. I don't think she's looking 5 points ahead. I think she just wants to win them one at a time.
And to be able to get those four players to communicate that to the other players, other positions, and sometimes to the official. Like, here's what we're trying to do. Here's what we're looking for. I also noticed that San Diego, since the last time we saw them, they've changed their mode of attack. And it was pretty interesting how quickly they wanted to get into their attack. It's not even, I think it's too fast to even call transition. How would you define that? They want to get the first strikeout.
I think San Diego, from the first time we played them, is a totally different team right now. They have different players on the court in different positions. When they're in system, they're really, really dangerous. And that 3 wins that they have isn't even close to, they're probably the most dangerous 3-win team that, like, they're not a bad team. Like, and I think it's one of those things where, as the Supernovas, yes, we have 10 wins. San Diego only has 3. They're not a bad team. And they started later than everybody else. They finally have a lineup I think they're settled on and they're happy with. And it's a different lineup than we played on round 1. So, yeah, San Diego's goal is to jump on us fast, jump on us early, and they want to go fast. And Nutsara Tomcom, she can go fast from everywhere on the floor.
It was interesting because we were super hyped about watching her in match 1 between these two teams. And there seemed to be some off balance. The Supernovas seemed to keep her off balance. What was that about, and what's the likelihood of seeing that again tonight?
Well, sets 1 and 2 in Omaha, we won the serve and pass game. Tomcom never really got an opportunity to show what she could do in system, and she wasn't trying to be fancy out of system. I think Thomas mentioned something at film today that if she's off the net, she doesn't like to set this. And they all were like, oh, no, we've seen her do this leg roundabout, bump set gap, backwards over her leg, distorted, contorted body position to make this set. And so it's funny because there's what we've seen that she can do. And then there's what they've seen she can do in AU and overseas and in other venues. So, I mean, I think we saw a glimpse of her full setting capabilities in set 3, where we kind of struggled with them a little bit. We still finished it out in 3, but we got to see how dangerous they could be. And now they're playing significantly better, and they seem to find a lineup that they like. So I think we're going to see a different San Diego team tonight.
We'll get over the course of this next hour, we'll get through some of the different matchups, players that are involved and what's going on. But I think it's to me, it was interesting to feel the vibe of them. And when they come, as they come out on the floor, you don't have to know volleyball, but knowing people and watching them move. I wanted to see whether they were connected to each other. And I was actually surprised because it was a positive vibe coming in. I mean, if you had the night that they had against Atlanta, there was some reassessment that had to happen after Atlanta for both of these teams. And we saw what happened with Omaha after Atlanta. Correct. What's the likelihood that this happens for San Diego?
I mean, they had a tough go. It was 25-10, I think, one of the sets. And I think we lost to Atlanta once that was 25-12 or 13. And, nothing could go right. And that's how volleyball sometimes it's just, it is a weird game that way. Like you could have everything go your way one night and nothing go your way the next night. So this will be a big bounce back game for them. They played Atlanta 2 days ago. No, they were in Atlanta on Saturday night. They played the same night as we did in Atlanta on Saturday night. So, they had the Sunday to recover. They had Monday to practice just like we did. They gave, the Novas had Sunday off as well, and then traveled and practiced when they got in. And then today obviously had to serve and pass. But I think now that they're at home and had some time to get their, their San Diego legs back and their time change and all that other stuff, I think they're going to be looking to be a different team. Because nobody wants to be remembered by that. Like, you want to erase that from memory and, make up for it in your next match.
That last match, I mean, again, watching sets 1 and 2, it didn't even seem as though San Diego was in the building. It was like, oh, we have a match to play. Oh, and by the way, it's against the top team in the Federation. And then they finally figured out in set 3, hey, we need to get it going. But we've seen that before. And again, over the course of the hour, we'll talk about San Diego, the roster as it currently stands. We'll talk about Omaha and what's gone on with the Supernovas. But up next, I do want to bounce into the Federation itself. We keep saying that each week after every game, it's like, oh, new standing, who this? We need to figure out what's going on in the Federation again, because the seedings have changed. The vibe of it has changed. Different organizations have stepped up, and it looks like playoffs are beginning to matter. Like you can actually see it off in the distance. And I want to ask you when we come back, what's the big thing? If you're the coach, and no matter where you are in this federation, I'm pretty sure you would have something to say to each team. I need for you to break down these teams and tell us. If you're San Diego, what are you saying? Sitting where you are. If you're Grand Rapids and you're 5-7, what are you saying to them, Coach? And this is where you get to tell your absolute truth, Coach. You get to tell your absolute truth.
You love putting me in precarious positions.
Oh, listen, I've been. You know how many play-by-play guys put me in the hot seat. So you're
paying it forward.
I am absolutely getting
you're
even.
Supposed to do that at coffee shops, not
100%. This is exactly what it was. We thank you for hanging out with us for the pre-match show here on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 7th and Van Doren. God bless you.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
The AHAS Arena, San Diego, California Pro Volleyball Federation action on a Tuesday night. It is the game of the Federation tonight. So the entire league will have their eyes and their ears attached to this to find out what's going on, because the Federation, again, re-identifies, rebrands itself after every week, and it looks different and it feels different. There is some imbalance, and that's a thing that we need to talk about in that for Omaha, this is game 15. For San Diego, this is game 11. And there's some difficulty in that. But where they stand, where San Diego sits at 3-7, it's not a fatal flaw at this point in the season, because if they can get it going tonight and get on a run, they would quickly find themselves at third place. That's within reach.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the standings, and you have Atlanta 12-4, number 1, Omaha 10-4, number 2, Grand Rapids 6-7 at 3, Orlando 6-8 at 4, then Columbus at 5-7, Vegas at 5-10, San Diego at 3-7. Like, they're not out of the picture. They win a couple.
Out.
You win a couple more games and you're in the playoff picture. It's just this. And the fact they've only played 10 games is crazy, because Vegas was the other late team in the league and they played 15 matches. So there's not. I mean, and some of it has to do with, obviously, this is a basketball arena, which was formerly a football bowl, which. This arena, I mean, I don't even understand. We got to talk about this arena for a second, because it is a bowl.
It's a bowl.
And about 1 million stairs from the bottom to the top.
Yeah,
if you come to a game, you have to enter on top, and you have to walk down all these stairs.
How many rows do you think that is?
I don't know. We ran it, and I thought I was at the top, and I was only like 3/4 of the way there. I was like, oh, I still have like 10 more rows to go.
45?
Probably 45 rows.
45 rows? Because it looks like they added, they had an idea, and then they added some at the top.
Or it was bleacher seating the whole way, and then they've been adding chairs. Because you got chairs probably about 40 rows up of chairs, and then you've got the last 5 rows are like bleacher seats. But, yeah, Rico and I decided we run up, and and then Jazz followed because she thought it looked fun. It's not fun. But it was fun. It was awesome. I'm like, I haven't ran stairs since Memorial Stadium or Devaney.
My meniscus hurts just at you talking about it.
My new knee did really well. I'm very proud of it. Very proud of it.
I mean, so through all of it, right, that you have to mark certain dates and games on it, that on game 11, their season hasn't been determined. Again, if they can, they're 3 wins from third place, and with more opportunities to make up those wins. And that's fascinating. And we know that this is a talented San Diego team. So what are you saying to them as coach? You get to walk in the locker room and talk to the Mojo. What are you saying to them?
I think it's 3 words: stay the course, right? I mean, you don't want to overcomplicate it. You don't want to be thinking like playoffs right now. You're just like, can we get better tonight? Can we get better tomorrow? Can we get a little bit better here? This is where we're lacking. Can we be a better passing team? Can we be a better serving team? Like, where can we add a little bit better? Knowing that counting tonight, we have 14 matches till the end of the season when the playoffs are seeded. You don't have to win a ton of games in there. Like, you win 5 or 6 games out of that 14, you're right in the mix. And, I think we were talking earlier that, 14 to 16 would get you in the playoffs. Well, now first and second, 14, 16, maybe 12. Maybe more, but like 10 might be right. So I just think it's simple. It's stay the course. Don't get caught up in standings. I mean, obviously this is a first-year league. There's going to be ebbs and flows. There's not a lot of consistency because we're playing in a basketball facility. So if they had a lot of home games, they maybe couldn't get in. Same with like us at CHI. If Creighton was there was a concert. The pro volleyball schedule is made around the arena that you're playing in. So Central Florida, there's 2 college campuses being used for the Pro League. One is here at San Diego State. The other one is in Orlando at Central Florida. So you have to work around the college schedule. There's just a lot going on, right? That when it comes to scheduling games, like Vegas is working around a hockey schedule, Grand Rapids around a hockey schedule, Omaha around Creighton, Atlanta around a hockey schedule, right? Wasn't that those all G League?
Yeah.
So, those take priority, and then you insert pro volleyball into those, which it works. But for someone like San Diego, they're like, we've only played 10 games and we have 6 weeks left.
So they've had 5 home games. That's it.
Yep, this is number 6.
Wow. Yeah, I think
nice part is they should have a lot of home on the way out, right? Like they should have. They're halfway through their home games, and they're
half and half.
Yeah,
because they've had 5 home games, 5 away games, and I'm just not sure that it's really conducive. Like if you're playing well, it doesn't matter, but if you're behind, like they are, yeah, you kind of hope that you have some home games. You're still trying to figure some things out.
Yeah, no, I think it's simple. I think it's stay the course. They have great players on their side of the net. They finally found a lineup. It's not all going to be. It's kind of like us. We're slowly coming into our own, and luckily we have the luxury of when somebody who we can rely on as a starter isn't having their best game, we've been able to make substitutions and be okay, right? And I think San Diego now has found their lineup, and they're finding that chemistry and their competitiveness and working together as a team. So they're just going to keep getting better through the final part of their season.
If you're in the locker room at Vegas, what are you telling them sitting at what are they, 5-7?
2 words for Vegas: get healthy.
Yeah, 5-10.
Yeah, 5-10.
Well,
They're down. They're missing 3 key players, or they were when they played us the last game. And I even told the people who I gave my tickets to, I'm like, this isn't a normal Vegas team. Like they're down 3 starters, not having Kylie Murrin hurt them, not having Gabby Gonzalez hurt them, not having Molly McCage hurt them. Now the other players weren't bad, but those 3 are elite level players, and they make a difference on the court. And so having them out, and then finding players that fit and that you can feed the ball to and carry kind of the same load, they just don't have that there. And so for them, it's got to be get healthy. They've got to be healthy and hopefully come at the end of it and have a strong last 9 matches of their season.
Yeah, at 10-4, Supernovas and the Mojo at 3-7. They've met once before, so there is some tracking to how they would attempt to play each other, given the people that were on the court that night. And it changes from night to night, so we understand that. It will be interesting to see how it plays out again tonight. Again, over the course of this hour, we will talk about what's happening with the Supernovas. We'll get into the roster of the San Diego Mojo up next, Coach. I ask you to kind of go up and down the roster and let folks know what to look out for. Again, it's a new look, Mojo, but we'll get to that. We'll throw it a break and come back. More from San Diego, the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Grab a free burger and beer at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln on April 27th during their Husker Spring Game tailgate. Meet the Elway Power Sports team, play some tailgate games with them, and enter for a chance to win an official John Elway autographed football. Check out their huge selection of boats and watercraft for the summer, along with hundreds of motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides from all the major brands. Stop out and watch the game with them on April 27th. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, 27th and I-80. They'll be tailgating all day. Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through April 7th, enjoy USDA Choice 8-ounce New York strips for $6.99 each, hickory smoked bacon for $4.99 per pound, fresh boneless, skinless chicken breast for $2.99 per pound, and whole tri-tip for $9.99 per pound. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
Again, we thank the fine folks from Mullen Motors for making this happen, bringing this pre-match conversation to you. We greatly appreciate them and the folks from our affiliates across the state of Nebraska who carry this content and get it out to you, and we appreciate you for giving us your time pre-match as well. Next to me, Coach Renee Saunders. Coach, let's talk about it. The Mojo in episode 1 of this matchup looks entirely different than the group that shows up tonight. What changes have been made since matchup 1?
Well, I mean, you're still going to see new star Tomcom. I mean, we're going to see her, but a couple players that we saw last time. Number one, Kendra Dalkey was in at opposite, and now they play Temi Thomas Ilara at opposite, where we saw her at outside hitter. We also saw Lindsay Stalzer out of Bradley at outside hitter, and a little bit of Morgan Lewis at opposite. And then there was another outside hitter that we saw, Grace Loberg at outside hitter, that hasn't really been playing. They have gone in as like substitutes, but they're no longer in the starting lineup. So you've got Grace Loberg, Kendra Dalkey, Bastianelli has played some. She played against us. She's not a starter anymore. Stalzer is the other one. And then Morgan Lewis they used off the bench. So that's 5 players that we may see tonight, but in a different role than what we saw them the first time in Omaha.
In Atlanta, Bastianelli started for them. Why would you say that she's not starting tonight, or why do you think that?
The word on the street is that Tap and Stone.
Okay.
You know the little bird that I talked to?
Yep.
The little bird seems to think that Tap and Stone will be the one starting.
Okay.
But they think that Bastianelli is going to get in.
Okay.
But they don't think it will be as a starter.
Is that a matchup thing? Is that a scheme thing? Why do you think that is?
You know, I don't know. I think I'm trying to remember the game before when they beat Vegas. I want to say that the other 2 started.
Okay.
So maybe Bastianelli was something they were trying against Atlanta, didn't work out. I'd have to go back and actually look at their starting lineups for that.
Through all of this, right, that 10 games in, and again, different opportunities, and they'll keep moving pieces around, trying to get to a recipe that works. Watching their last couple of matches, tempo was the thing. Tempo. Let's get the ball off our hands early. We don't want long volleys. Why is that, and why would this team choose that?
I think tempo's what a lot of teams try to do when they want to try to create one-on-ones for their hitters, when they want to speed the game up. You can control pace with your serve, you can control it with your pass, you can control it with your set. And when you have arguably one of the best setters in the world, right, you're gonna probably push pace a little bit with that person. Now, it is dependent on pass. So if they were passing well, they were probably trying to go fast. There is a little risk management in going fast. Going fast can also be more high error. So you want to try to find the happy medium where you don't want it too fast and be making a lot of mistakes, but you don't want to be so slow that you have a triple block every time you have a hitter up to hit. So there is a balance there that you have to find, and I'm guessing that they're trying to run everything fast to create one-on-ones for their hitters. And they have a setter who's very capable of doing it. But it's, like I said, it's going to take them time to get into that chemistry and flow, especially if they're going at a higher speed.
Depth is always a part of this thing, and it ends up on game by game, often set by set. and how coaches choose to transition. The San Diego bench, it has some players. And again, because the starting lineup's been adjusted, that means it adjusts your depth. How would you measure San Diego's depth going into the night?
Well, if you think about it, you have 4 or 5 players that were starters at some point, and now they're on your bench. And we have players on our bench who also have been starters. So that tells me that San Diego's pretty deep. It's just finding best fit for the team. And so that's what I think they're trying to figure out. And I think Taiba Park has done a great job of doing that. I think that it's a matter of like, if you get caught up and like, okay, things aren't great right away, that's okay. Like, we're still going to try some things out. We're going to keep experimenting, so to say, until we figure out what works best for the Mojo, and then that's going to be our identity. Like, I feel like the Supernovas have slowly still been creating their identity, and they've played more matches. So it's going to be a process for them, but, you know, any player who is been in any great program, there's always a process that goes behind the scenes, and I think they just have to stay the course on that.
There's a lot of college success on the Mojo roster. And, of course, with Oregon, we're familiar, right? That anytime we travel around the country, there's some Oregon Ducks on the opposing team, and then they usually show up. The same is true for the Mojo.
5 ducks to count them all. There were some ducks at the pool today.
Yeah, they really were. I saw the mama.
Yeah, they were underneath.
I saw the mama.
They were like walking under chairs. I'm like, oh, there's ducks here today. So, but not those kind of ducks.
Right.
We only have 1 duck on our team, but they have 5 on their team, and obviously their coach came from Oregon, so there's that Oregon connection. So, you know, I think the way this league kind of worked, based on things that we were told early on, is you were getting players by word of mouth, right? So you're going to call who you know and be like, who do you know that would want to play? And that's kind of how it's going to be, like telephone, right?
Yeah.
We got a bunch of players on our team because they had played with certain people and they wanted to play together here. I feel like the Mojo is kind of the same way. And since it was a little later in the league, a lot of players were already taken up either overseas or on other teams. And so, you know, you reach out to your resources, and obviously like Deidre and Taiba both have West Coast resources, and so they're going to reach out and try to find those players, but they got some good ducks on their team too. So it wasn't like it was just getting them to fill spots. They're like legit good players from Oregon.
In a space like this in San Diego and California, the area itself, I mean, there's a lot of beach volleyball. There's a lot of college volleyball. How is it possible that it's difficult to get players? Shouldn't there be a large pool to choose from?
Oh, there's definitely a large pool to choose from. That's why they still got great players.
Yeah.
You know, 100%. That being said, not every player wants to. Some of them might not have been playing for a while, right? Like Gabby Thompson for us. She hadn't played for a couple of years, and she had a full-time job, and the only way she would come join us is if she could keep her job.
Yeah.
And here she is, and she's killing it, right? So I think there's a lot more that goes into it. Maybe some of them have families now. I mean, maybe they're coaching somewhere. They don't want to give that up. I mean, it's life. Life sometimes gets in the way of playing, but I think that anybody who wanted to play was able to, for the most part. They weren't already playing somewhere else.
I think the stories that are being told and the journey, again, for a lot of folks, that this new league, this federation, has allowed people who love volleyball to have a place and a reason. Like, you take a great athlete and give them motivation to get back in shape, to get back to work, and to figure it all out. I think that's a big part of the storytelling for the Pro Volleyball Federation, and it's been really good so far. So we'll throw it to break. When we come back, I do want to talk about the Supernovas, and again, with the Player of the Week honor, and that's, what is that, number 3 for the season?
Brooke and Sydney, we have 2.
We have 2.
Yep.
There should be 3. There should be 3. And we'll have that conversation as well. We'll talk about that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, we'll talk about who's next. We'll talk about the Supernovas roster, and we'll find out what your little bird told you about what we can expect from the Supernovas tonight here. Again, we're at VAS Arena in San Diego, California. Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
Here you go. Coffee's on me and my new BFF. I thought I was your best friend forever. BFF like best financial friend at Members Own Credit Union. Right now, they're offering $100 when you consolidate or transfer a loan or an existing credit card balance and meet requirements. Plus, you get great rates and free advice from a financial partner that will put you first. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Members Own Credit Union is the type of bestie you can count on. Get started today at memberzonecu.org/BFF. Limitations may apply. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey guys, Jake Sorensen here from Early Break. The garage door at our house has been needing replacement for a couple years, and a few months ago, we finally did something about it. Steve's Garage Doors and Services was great through the whole process in providing options and also going to the next level to get a door that was approved by our HOA. And best of all, the removal of the old door and installation of the new door was done smoothly with no issues. Call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today at 402-480-2840.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show brought to you by Mullen Motors.
San Diego, California, Supernovas Radio Network. We appreciate you hanging out with us for this pre-match. Get us all set up for Supernovas and the Mojo. What's the plural for Mojo? Mojos? Mojo. Is Mojo plural?
Isn't Mojo already plural?
I'm asking. I want to be appropriate.
I don't want to say it's already plural because it's a vibe, right? It's a feeling.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rico. That's why we ask questions. That's a thing. Let's talk about the Supernovas team. And again, I can't read. I'm
Mojos.
So it is. Ha! See what happens when you ask questions. You get answers.
Feel like I'm not gonna be like, we got the Mojos.
Yeah, I mean, but
it just sounds funny. We got the Mojos.
I mean, and Mojo possessive. Mojo possessive. Like, there are things that we need to know. This is why we have to work this stuff out in advance.
Thank God for Google. We'd be having to find a library.
You know. We would ask their media person, but no. No, that would not be a thing. Coach, Supernovas, and we know that. We know the plural of that. We're actually allowed to add to that. On a big week, and again, getting player of the week, having the league identify Sydney Hilly as the player in the entire federation who had the best week. That is a statement amongst all other things. Exactly what does that say about the Supernovas? With the eyes that are of the league being on them, they somehow still deliver and meet standard.
Sydney's just a great player. I mean, that's the bottom line, and she's finally rewarded for that great play. I think, one time we were riding back on the bus, and it was like, are they, they were trying to decide who they're going to nominate. So I think after, each week you can nominate players, but they were like, that person wouldn't get it or that person wouldn't get it because they don't have enough of this, they don't have enough of that. But, I mean, Sydney had 86 assists, 26 digs, and 6 kills in the 2 Week 10 matches. I mean, that's unheard of stats. Like, I think she had 51 set assists in one of them, and that was a 4-setter, and then she had 35 in a 3-setter against Vegas. So I mean, imagine if Vegas goes 4 sets, she's probably going to break 100 set assists. I mean, she's just putting up a great ball for her hitters right now. 26 digs as a setter is phenomenal, and I know like Nadi had the old set assist record, and Sydney broke it. And I think that's the cool part about this league and this team is the records are meant to be broken.
And I mean, let's be honest, on a night where you're not playing 5 sets every night.
Nope.
So the fact that the numbers are saying what they say, that means you're highly productive and the effectiveness is in play. And it also, listen, let's speak to it, that the players behind the starters have been exceptional.
Yes.
And they've been exceptional in how professional they are, how they handle this thing. And there was nobody who talked more about Sydney getting the award this week than the person that plays the same position she does.
Naughty. They support each other so well and push each other so well, and they do it in practice, and they mix up their teams, and they're constantly like challenging each other, and in the way the coaches, they're masterminds of how can we make us the most competitive team possible. And then obviously there's the issue of role acceptance because Nadi had the record before that, so obviously she was doing a pretty good job too, so then it's figuring out, okay, well, we're gonna have this person go for this game because we like these matchups better, but we're going to make a change. We're going to switch this up, or maybe something's not working or the connection's not quite there. Then we always have somebody waiting who's ready to go in, and they're going to support each other in either position that they are. Nothing makes me more happy than like our social media posts of our bench. The Belovas, right? Bench Novas?
Yes.
Benovas?
Yes.
Benovas.
The Novas.
Yeah, Bench Novas. I mean, and they have a name for themselves, and they rock it, and they love it, and I think you have to, if you're number one, if you're in this league, you're pretty darn good.
Like
right?
they should be stealing from Washington though. They should be the fun bunch. They should be the fun bunch.
Well, so they're reinventing their own name instead of stealing. They're making it their own.
They have the best dances. They're the most creative.
Maybe they could just take some of the dances but keep the Benovas name.
Yeah. Okay.
How's that?
That'll do. Like,
look how close we are to Thomas right now.
Should still be. We
could
get to
be like,
bug
challenge,
Thomas. We get to bug Thomas all night, which is why they put us on this side instead of the other side. Because Thomas doesn't know how annoying I can be over the course of an entire broadcast.
He's getting nervous just thinking about it.
Yeah, over the out point, just going, what is he even doing over there? Let's go through it. Again, you're deep into the season, injuries, etc. The Supernovas have done an exceptional job of keeping folks healthy. That is such a big key. And in being on the road, to your knowledge, what can you talk about when it comes to health in this team?
I mean, right now they're in a good space. I actually asked her the exact question. I said, like, you've had 4 games, 9 days. You're at the midway point now. We passed the midway point. You got 2 left. How are our legs? How are our arms? She goes, I think we're all in a good spot. She said last night at practice when they asked them if they wanted to do some like 6v6 type stuff, they said no. And they trust them to know what's best for their bodies. And I think that's respectable for Birds. So they kept them down yesterday, didn't do a lot of jumping or attack type stuff. And so the team should be pretty fresh coming in today. And I think they were going to practice on Sunday, ended up giving them the day off. Well, it was Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So they had Sunday off. Monday was yesterday. They came in and they just did like an hour and a half, like serve and pass type practice. And that's when the team told her that they didn't want to do a lot of like jumping and after. I mean, they were traveling all day. They lifted in the morning, traveled all day, and then got in the arena, kind of touched the balls, and then got a good night's rest. And boom, here we go, game day.
Is that from veteran leadership being vocal and kind of dictating, or at least speaking to it? That hey, coach, listen, this is kind of where we are.
Well, it's funny because if you talk to the younger players, they could keep jumping and hitting and all that. But
That's then
you have your older players that are like, we can't do this. Right. And so, but I think that's the part of managing a professional team versus a college team versus a high school team. It's different. The age range is 10 plus years, and we all know those 10 years, you're not getting any more spriteful. right? No,
Oh.
not more youthful. Like it's different. Okay, things start to slow down. Recovery takes a little longer. And it's one of those things where I think it's important that they listen to the veterans on that, because obviously we need all their legs and arms to be at our best for the long game.
Yeah, it's funny too, because I keep thinking that this is such a veteran team, and you realize all the young players that are actually getting quality rotation.
It's an awesome mix,
right?
Is what it is.
And to watch it, I know that it changes from game to game, as we've been talking about, that different players get spotlighted and get opportunities, and it could be watching them work out. I was asking about the workouts and practices, because sometimes that dictates change in the rotation, starting lineup, etc. So in the next segment, we'll get to it, and we'll go through those on either side, who we think the projected starters would be, until we can find out more about that. And then I'll ask, the basic things with keys to the game, because on a night where, again, it's a different Mojo team, and it may be a different Supernovas team. So sometimes matchups change, and sometimes matchups matter. So, Coach, what we'll do is we'll go to break, and we'll come back. We will talk about the starting lineups, how we think they're going to line up, and then keys to the match, because, different matchup this time. I think we're going to have some different conversation points in this thing. Coach Renee Saunders, DP. Super producer Rico back there, Harrison Arns on the board. We thank you, and we'll be right back on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Brad with Midwest Bank, proudly serving our Nebraska communities for over 70 years. We're a community bank, making local decisions, supporting local organizations, and helping local businesses and farms succeed. We are dedicated to serving our clients and helping them meet their financial needs with sound, innovative banking solutions. From an array of checking and deposit accounts, cash management services, to small business, real estate, and ag lending. We're here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com. Member FDIC.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular price athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Browns carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Road construction is complete, so there's nothing keeping you from getting into Mullen Motors. They can get you into a new vehicle right now and get your 2024 started off the right way. They cleared off their 2023 inventory and have tons of new vehicles to choose from to make sure you get to where you need to be this year. Out with the old and in with the new. Stop by Mullen Motors today, just north of 48th and Layton in Lincoln.
No tagline, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
The Supernovas Radio Network is live. This is the Omaha Supernovas pregame show, brought to you by Mullen Motors.
We're about 15 minutes from first serve here at VAS Arena, San Diego, California, on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by KNTK FM First Nebraska. And we thank our affiliates from across the state for getting this content to you. And again, things of note. One, if you haven't downloaded the Ticket app, do so. If you want the Supernovas app, great time to do so. Really cool time to shop for Supernovas gear. As a matter of fact, just jump on their website, supernovas.com, and do that as well. And then after this segment, we will jump over to the stream, and you will have the action that way. I hope that you've already downloaded the app. That's what
I got it on my phone.
That's what I would suggest to you. If you want to watch the stream, Pro Volleyball League has the stream on YouTube, and you can follow it that way as well. Coach, I'm gonna call an audible here because I want to start with the bench for the Supernovas and players that you expect that we should have an eye on that may contribute to the way this match ends.
Yeah, it's funny because every single one of them have that opportunity to do that. I mean, they all have the potential to do it. It's just a matter of if number one, we need it, right? I mean, not going to sub unless you need it. I know at the end of film, after Bird said the starting lineup, she threw in, hey, I would love to get you all in. But at the same time, you don't want them to think that we're all going to get in because they're not good.
Yeah.
Because I think in the mind of a player is like, oh, they only have 3 wins. And Bird said that she wants to get us all in. So does she think we're going to, kill them? And she doesn't want them to have that mentality coming in. But she also wants them to know that, hey, if we need to make a sub or if we're doing really well, that we're going to try to get as many people in as possible. Allison Mayfield, we haven't seen her for a couple matches. I'd love to see her on the court. Maggie Cartwright, we haven't seen since Orlando when she went off, which was super fun.
Yep.
Paige Briggs is not going to be starting tonight, but I know that, obviously Mayfield's also an outside hitter, but I could see Paige hopping in and seeing some playing time if things get a little awry. And then Jess Shaven-Landsman's going to be coming in off the bench tonight if we need her on the right side. So, and then Gabby Thompson at libero, obviously, and then Nadi at setter. We have so many good players at every position that it's possible, like, hey, we need a bigger block or we need better defense, and we can plug and play different players based on the needs that the team has.
All of those players, and you're watching them go through drills, they're all swinging like, you know what, this is our night. When you're preparing the party, they are going through the motions as though they're preparing to play. Let's talk about Gabby Thompson a little bit because, again, this is a special place for her. She's got extra company in town.
She does. I don't know. I think they're working tonight, but
yeah.
I
think he's starting tonight, right?
Is he starting tonight or tomorrow? He started against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if he was back in the rotation now, but yeah, she was excited. Her and Betty caught the game, went yesterday late, and got to go in, and she got to see some of the other Cardinals' wives and friends of hers, and so
they didn't reach out to us. We went, Jeff, Rico, and myself. We went, and shout out to Petco Park for having the best hot dogs in Major League Baseball in a stadium.
And maybe one of the best views. That is an awesome stadium.
Great view. And then, Rico, I would dare say, the best French fry meal that you like. It was It was a Philly cheesesteak French fry, and the plate was as big as your laptop. It was ginormous.
Did you share?
Oh, he had to. He had to. We would have fought.
So
I offered and nobody ate any. I ate it.
They're a 10 out of 10 on ballpark food.
Well, because we had there's a bacon wrapped hot dog, a bacon wrapped hot dog
sold,
and Jeff and I lost our minds. Like we were making noises as we ate these hot dogs.
You were that guy.
No, we were
that guy.
Like it was like, come on. If a hot dog crunches when you bite it,
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about like a burnt one from the grill.
No, it was like perfect. It was perfect. And so we rather enjoyed ourselves. Let's go through how you think the starting lineups will line up. First for San Diego.
San Diego starter side. This is what we think. We don't know for sure.
This is only what we're told.
But Nutsara Tom Comet setter, Temi Thomas Ilara opposite, Ronica Stone and Hannah Tapp in the middle, Venegas Medina at libero, and then Valeria Papa and Lindsay Vander Wyda at outside hitter.
You nailed that. You nailed that. I'm so proud of you.
That
is one heck of a job.
Thank you. I'm working hard on my pronunciation.
Vander Weide.
Vander Weide.
Like we got beat up after the first match. They were like, you screwed that up the entire match.
Well, in all honesty, like I literally thought it was Vander Weide. Like I didn't even think anything of it. And then I was talking to Bird today, and I mean, she was in Omaha for training camp, and she's like, it's Weide. I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah, it was. I had a radio.
That being said, that's why we need match notes.
I had that part
because it has pronunciation.
That
you can
part that we got like
make
2
sure
minutes
you get it
before
right.
We went live.
Yes,
2 minutes before.
2 minutes is better than not at all.
That is there. The starting lineup for the Supernovas per Coach Saunders.
Per the Bird.
Uh-huh.
The Bird is the word.
Yeah.
Brooke and Betty at outside hitter. Tori Dixon and Christina Vuchkova in the middle. Sydney Hilling setting. Nia Reed opposite. Kendall White at libero.
Why, Coach?
Which part? Why?
The Nia part.
You know, she puts up a big block. She's been hitting really well. I think straight numbers alone, I want to say that Jess's efficiency has not been as high as Nia's efficiency in the last matches that they played. So I think that's a big part of it. And the other part is they're kind of interchangeable, and Jess has had a ton of swings, and it's not going to hurt her to rest her shoulder, rest her legs a little bit. I mean, it could be for 20 different reasons, but I think right now, I think Nia brings a little bit more offensive production than Jess, which Jess was doing a fantastic job early, but as people have more film and they are, more dialed in, the ability to interchange those two based on needs is going to be really important. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little Sophie Davis tonight, same reasons. Vuchkova and Dixon have been our primary middles for most of the season, especially since Hart's been out. And so, that's a lot of jumps for them. That's a lot of swings for them. But it's also people get used to what they do, right? It's tendency. Volleyball is a tendency sport. So if we can get in a Sophie to give kind of a change of pace, a change of look. Nia jumps out of the gym, by the way. She just went up and swung at a ball, and her freaking shoulders were above the net.
Yep, she's bouncy.
Yeah. And she gets bouncier every warm-up, I think. Maggie's pretty bouncy, too.
Yeah, it's good times. Here's what we're going to ask you to do. We're going to ask you to jump on the ticket app. We're going to ask you to jump over to supernovas.com, jump on the Supernovas app, because the post-game show is over, and we're going to hand it over to the big boys, and we're going to jump over and get you all set up for the actual call on the ticketfm.com and the ticket app. So if you would, please, we thank you for joining us. We thank Mullen Motors. Harrison Orange, thank you, kind sir. Let's buckle up and get this bad boy ready. It is the Mojo versus the Supernovas in San Diego. You will catch all of the action here on the Supernovas Radio Network, powered by 93.7 The Ticket and the ticketfm.com.
Spring is a time of new beginnings and trying new things.